I also wanted the opportunity one more time to say publicly welcome to Dr. Mueller. It's very nice to have a full slate of board members once again. We had a chance to meet last week briefly, and I'm hopeful that with all your education experience that you'll be able to, add even greater dimension to the conversations that we have here. I'd also like to thank the County Council, led by President Vincenti. I think they led both a thoughtful process, an open process, but they also moved it along, I think, with reasonable expedience to make sure we were able to fill this seat fairly quickly, because it is important to be able to have a full team voting. So thank you to President Vincenti and the team that helped select you. It was nice. I mean, they reached out early on to discuss the process, but I think, appropriately so, kept it separate from the board, and I think sustained an appropriate process for making this selection. A couple of other things. I had the opportunity on February 19th to attend the Education Foundation's Rising Stars Breakfast, which recognizes donors for the Educational Foundation who donate $1,000 or more over the course of the year for our students. They came together at Edgewood High School for just a quick recognition. It's so important to have this type of community support, and it was nice to see everybody out there and to thank the Ed Foundation for everything they do all the time on behalf of our schools. We had our most recent grad tour. I know some of you attended on February 20th, that went to Bel Air Elementary, Middle, High School, and Homestead Wakefield Elementary. So we want to thank, again, Chick-fil-A for providing the snacks and coming along with us and helping sponsor those days. But we also, of course, want to invite board members to our next grad tour, which we'll be taking in Havre de Grace on March 5th. So if you are available that morning, it is a fun experience. It's a fair bit of work, actually, walking around and shaking hands and saying thank you and all those things, but I think it's very worthwhile. Again, if you haven't experienced that, please join us for that. We have our first North Star Parent Advisory Council meeting on March 2nd. I believe that's next Monday, correct? That's right. From 5:30 to 7 p.m. We have so much going on with that work, and so to know that we have representatives from our schools coming, I know we have board representatives on that committee, but knowing that we'll have the opportunity to work with parent representatives to talk through what's going on with regard to North Star. We just had an administrative visit today where we had a few folks over from HCC to make sure that work was moving forward. It took us over 90 minutes to do updates from the 8 different subcommittees we have going, and that's with everyone speaking very quickly. There's so much work going on, but much more to follow on that. And another thing I wanted to highlight is we started a new recognition process here in the building for our central office folks. It was dubbed, not by me, but by our social committee, to call it the Bowtie Breakfast for some obvious reason. But we had a number of folks we recognized at the first one of those this past month. We have another one coming up March 12th, and one thing we realized we left out of the first one is that we really needed board members there helping us thank our employees. So I think the sign-up's been sent around, and we have representatives coming for upcoming Bowtie breakfasts so that you can come and join us when we recognize some of the great work that happens here in this building in support of our schools. So you had the chance this evening to hear not once but twice from our Havre de Grace elementary students, and it got better the second time as we added some help. Of course, as Black History Month is moving toward a close here, I had the opportunity a few weeks ago with the student advisory to hear some of the things happening in our various schools in recognition of Black History Month. So just a couple to acknowledge. C. Milton Wright is actually having a program tomorrow with an assembly including poetry, music, a guest speaker who will be our very own Dr. Stanton. Aberdeen Middle School having a performance on the 26th. Again, there's also going to be an evening event there for the community to celebrate. We've had other events. Edgewood Middle School has done something with decorating classroom doors, and Edgewood High School. There was a assembly at the elementary on the 19th, and we've had students, again, sharing a lot of different experiences. One of the conversations we've been having, I think, in the spirit of this is, just today in our policy review committee, there was a discussion about our district's equity policy, which is something rolling out. MSDE had a requirement that each district have this, and so this is under discussion, and the final form ours will be coming later in the year. But the professional development that Ms. Riccardi acknowledged from last week was a district-wide program for all school leaders on the topic of race and equity. And we're kind of looking at this from a lot of directions. Equity is not something you can just do in one plan. It has to infiltrate the entire work of the school district. I think we have a lot of examples of where that's beginning, but this is not something where you ever have the opportunity to declare victory either. It has to be constant. It has to be persistent. And so we have great leadership in this district to help drive that, but even more so, which is up from our students, we have a lot of great thinking going from the students up also. So thank you to everyone, I think, in the spirit, not of just Black History Month, but of the work that we need to be doing with even more urgency in this district. We've had, I think, a lot of good starts this year, and we'll be coming back to talk about more of those accomplishments as the year goes on. I have one more piece I'll save for a later meeting. So with that, thank you all so much. It was nice to have a lot to celebrate tonight, particularly our new member of the team. So I will see you all in a couple weeks.
Thank you.
Now, Ms. Smith.
Yes, the next board meetings are on March 9th and March 23rd, both at 6:30 p.m. here in the Roberti Building.
This meeting is adjourned.